Hey folks, Mav's dad here. This is actually going to be a very special review. This is going to be a throwback review of a piece of electronics I had when I was a teenager, and I fell in love with it back then. I'm still in love with it. Everybody that had one back then just loved it. This is a Sony WM-F10 Walkman, and it holds the distinction as being the smallest cassette Walkman in the world. And it still holds that distinction today, even though nobody listens to cassettes anymore because we have MP3 players and cell phones. Back then, it was a pretty big deal, and Sony was the king of miniaturization of electronics back in the 80s. And this thing is really, really cool. I found it on eBay, and it needed a couple things done to it, so I basically restored it to its glorious luster and functionality. Everything works on it. The FM tuner, the motors, the volume, everything works on it. It's in perfect working order. And it's really, really neat. And if you look over here to your left, you also see that I have a vintage Miami Vice cassette tape. And this is really cool too, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But anyway, I'm doing this actually from a suggestion I had from one of my co-workers. Let's just say Mr. Amos. Gave me the idea to do a throwback review, and I'm glad he did because I really, really like this thing. And again, I said I got it off of eBay. I was shocked that it was in such good condition. It only has a few minor little dings and dents on it, but overall, it's an absolute excellent condition. I replaced the belt inside. There was no battery corrosion. I'll go ahead and open up the door here, and with these, you slide it out. And then you open up the door, and the AA battery fits inside of here, and I'll go ahead and open that up here in a second. But as you can see, the FM tuner portion is actually on the lid. The whole radio is inside here, is inside this case right here. It was just incredibly cool back then how Sony could miniaturize all the components, the flywheels, everything they needed to miniaturize to make this thing work and to run just off of one AA battery was incredibly cool. I'll get you some more close-ups here. It did not have auto reverse, but it had stop, fast forward, play. It would automatically stop at the end of the tape. It did have Dolby noise reduction, which is a pretty big deal back then. They first started coming out with it. You'll see the Dolby right there. Of course, you could play a metal tape or a regular tape. It was incredibly cool back then to have one of these things. And another cool feature is that the cassette player would turn off automatically if you remove the the headphones. I don't have the original headphones for this. Those are extremely hard to find. But that was another battery saving feature. When you unplugged the headphones, it didn't work. So I'll go ahead and open it up. And then I'll take out the battery. Basically one little slide here. You just slide it, and then the battery compartment pops out, and there's your battery. Again, making this run off of one AA was a pretty big deal back then. It's still a big deal. Sony is just known for their miniaturization. Those engineers were ballers, man. They were really cool. So anyway, again, you slide it out. Excuse me. You slide it out, open it up. Let me pop out my vintage Miami Vice soundtrack cassette here. And you pop it in. And actually it just slides in like this. You can see it right there. A little Miami Vice action. Really cool. And you go ahead and close the lid. Now it's ready. And the only thing you have to do now is plug in the headphones, which I'll do here. Standard 3.5mm jack, which hasn't changed in God knows how many years. And then you press play. And there you go. I don't know if you can hear that, but the LED light lights up. Let me see if I turn the volume up here. It's just really, really cool. I mean, it's got all the original stickers on it. It does not have, these also came with a Sony, look, it was like a red Sony S sticker that stuck right here. And I think it said, "It's a Sony." That sticker's been long gone. But that's it, man. Let me go ahead and stop this music before YouTube doesn't let me put this on here. Anyway, that's it. They also came with a carrying case, a little plastic clip-on carrying case that you could pop on here to clip on your belt if you wanted to look extra cool. And like I said, there are many different iterations of this model. I think the first one was the WM-10, which did not have the tuner on the lid, on the cover. And then there are a couple of, the next model, I think the WM-30 had the AM-FM and a TV band to listen to TV, listen to your local TV stations. So this thing is just really cool. I mean, I've had it for, a while now. I restored it. I've been offered a ton of money for this thing. I am never going to sell it just because, it's a really cool reminder of my childhood. A lot of good memories, walking down the street listening to this thing. You were the coolest kid in school if you had the latest Sony Walkman. And I think this is circa 1983. And back then, I think they were about, gosh, I'm trying to remember, maybe $120, $130, which back then was just absolutely ridiculous. They were expensive. I might be wrong on that number. That sounds a little expensive even for today. But it wouldn't surprise me if that's how much they were. I seem to remember around 120 bucks for this. And of course, it came with the headphones. Those were the ear canal headphones that the speaker just kind of sat in your ear, and it had the stainless steel band. Anybody that's had a Walkman knows which particular earphones I'm talking about. So anyway, that's it. It's a Sony WM-F10. It's in great condition. Everything works. And I love this thing, man. I've always loved it. The really cool thing about these back then, way before metal bodies were kind of popular, this has I'm guessing it's probably magnesium, partially magnesium, partial aluminum chassis, but the whole thing is metal. I mean, this whole area is metal. All of it's metal. So, way before people started, worrying about Bengate and their iPhone 6s and all that type of stuff, Sony was doing stuff in metal for a Walkman, which was they were really ahead of their time. And this thing is really a great example of it, and I'm really glad I could kind of restore it, get it back to into working order. And I mean, it looks great. Like I said, only a few scuffs on it, only a couple little dings, and I love it. So if you like Sony Walkmans, definitely click on like, and if you like my channel, please subscribe. And if you like this video, you want to see some more throwback stuff, I have a couple other items that I would like to do videos on if you like this one. So let me know. Like I said, if you like the video, click on like. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Any questions, comments, please put them down in the description underneath the video. And that's about it. This has been Mav's Dad. Enjoy the video and take care. Bye-bye.